Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Between now and December 16th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing where 13 winners will each win one of the Flipside Gaming Masterpiece Collection playmats. See the description below for more details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to this special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This is our November Picks of the Month video, where we talk about some overlooked cards, maybe some undervalued cards, that you might want to pick up sooner or later, because no doubt many of these cards will be going up in value in the coming months. Quickly before we get started, just a fast reminder about this monthly series. It does go out to gold patrons first. By the time you see it on YouTube, it could be 24 or 48 hours later. Prices might have shifted slightly, but I'm not anticipating any big changes within the cards we're talking about today. The 20 cards I chose today were inspired by Ultimate Masters. Typically when a Master set comes out, you'll notice that people will start slowly learning which cards are in there, and once cards get number crunched out, cards that people were anticipating or maybe really wanted will begin going up in value when they realize they're not in the set. This set caught us by surprise, and I think more people were focused on what's in the set as opposed to what's not in the set, and I think in the coming weeks that's going to sink in. A lot of folks are going to say, you know what? That card that I really wanted for a long time, it's not going to be in Ultimate Masters. And I don't know when it's going to be reprinted again, because this is the last Master set for the foreseeable future, and we don't know how they're going to get reprints to us in the next year or 2 years. It's just very unclear at this point. That uncertainty, I do think, is going to lead to some price increases in the coming months. Now, the 20 cards I chose today are all cards that have been printed as mythics at some point. Granted, they could be downgraded to rare for the Ultimate Master set. That is possible. But I tried to choose 20 cards that I don't really think they're interested in downgrading. So let's get into it. Emrakul, The Promised End, $13.29. Now, the other Emrakul will be in the set and has been reprinted now a couple times. However, this one, yet to see a reprint. It's from a set that also didn't have large distribution. Eldritch Moon kind of fell in between a couple large sets that were very popular at the time. Not as much of the product was open. So the cards from this set, and we're going to see another one a little bit later, actually have been pretty spiky at times. Now, this one sees play in Legacy as well as Modern here or there. It's a great casual card too. I mean, it's Emrakul, so it's a very unique card that we just don't know when we're going to see it again at this point. Ugin the Spirit Dragon, $48.74. Now, I really wish this one was in the set. Again, it has seen some light competitive play, but another amazing casual card, and very expensive already. Ulamog, The Ceaseless Hunger, $20.13. And this card continues to see play in competitive decks in Modern as well as Legacy. Very, very solid Eldrazi Titan here. Great cube card as well. And even though a lot of Battle for Zendikar has been open, this one still keeps creeping up. Monastery Mentor, $9.99. For $10, you can pick this up. Now, one thing I will say about this card, I was stretching a little bit to find a white card that we haven't talked about recently in one of these videos that I felt like was worthwhile. This one was kind of borderline for me because it doesn't see as much play as it once did, but it still sees Vintage and Legacy play, and I do think for $10, it's not a bad pickup now. Force of Will. Huge Legacy and Vintage card, of course. Alliances, $79.92. Eternal Masters, $96. The Eternal Masters version is kind of expensive, I think. $96 is maybe a little bit to ask for this particular card. Now, it has amazing Therese Nielsen art. The older one also has Therese Nielsen art, but it's just not as popular. But I will say this, $79.92, you can get that for around $80. If you shop around, probably less than that. That's actually a great price to have a copy of Force of Will in your collection. Maybe I would go more for the Alliances version over Eternal Masters because I think there's more room for growth there. Unless, of course, you prefer the art on the Eternal Masters one, which I know a lot of people do. Jace the Mind Sculptor, one of the more iconic cards in Magic's history. Masters 25, $89.99. Eternal Masters 94.44. World Wake 99.98. You know, Jace kind of got a bad rap recently because Teferi has been pushing him out of his territory a little bit. But you know what? Jace still sees play in those decks with Teferi. And maybe it's not for Jace's anymore in those Modern Control builds all the time. But he's still there. He's in other builds too in the format, not to mention the Legacy play he sees. And he's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Now, would I buy the World Wake one for $99.98? Probably not. I don't think there's a lot of room for that to grow, at least in the short term. The Masters 25, though, for $90, if you need a Jace, I don't think that's a bad price. I do think that has some room to grow. Eventually, that will catch up with some of the others, be closer to the $95 to $100 mark. Might be a number of months down the road, but I do think it gets there. Show and Tell. Conspiracy Take the Crown, $15. The original Urza Saga, $21.53. Sees a lot of legacy play in Show and Tell, Omnitel decks. And it's just a really cool card. Very classic Magic card. And whether you get the Conspiracy version for $15, which does have a lot of room to grow, I think, or even the Urza Saga, that original one being a $21 card right now, feels a little undervalued to me. I realize that the Conspiracy reprint brought that value down quite a bit a while back. I do think it's going to keep creeping up though now. Time Warp. I thought this one was kind of cool to add because Temporal Manipulation is in Ultimate Masters. This is a similar card, but you can target with this card for the same casting cost, so that sometimes will have different applications. Not very often, but sometimes. But you have a few different versions here. Explorers of Ixalan, which wasn't printed all that long ago, $12.98, Tempest $14.14, Starter $19.99, $14.67, Magic 2010 $14.97. Pick your favorite one here. I do think the ones that could grow the most are maybe the original. The Tempest is always a good one to have. That Starter 1999 copy is also kind of unique and interesting. Might be a good one to pick up. The card itself does see a tad bit of modern play. There are some band control builds that are running around that run some of these. And you don't see it all that often, at least not yet, but you never know. That could take off in the future. But I do think this card could have potential down the road in Modern, and it's also an awesome cube and casual card. True Name Nemesis. Now, this one was reprinted not too long ago in Battle Bonds. You can get that copy right now for $9.99. Commander 2013 is $13.62. Not very expensive right now either. And because Battle Bond didn't come out all that long ago, these are pretty nice prices for this card, considering the legacy play and even vintage play that this card has seen in the past. So I would consider picking these up for $10 all day long. If I can grab a playset of these for $40, I think that's a pretty good deal. Vendilion Click. Now, this has been reprinted quite a bit, but it was reprinted in Masters 25, which wasn't all that long ago. $20.44 for that one. Modern Masters 2015, $22.68. Modern Masters 24.19. Morningtide 24.99. So between $20 and $25, you can grab a copy of this. I would go with that Masters 25, though. It works just as well as all the others, and it does have room to grow. The Morningtide one, though, if you're more of a high-end collector, that's the one you want because Morningtide cards are getting harder and harder to find in good condition. Dark Confidant. Bob's another one that's gotten a bad rap recently, but he's still a great card. Modern Masters, $55. Modern Masters 2015, $55.50. Ravnica City of Guilds for that original Bob art, $58.09. That's a great price for the Ravnica one. That hasn't been under $60 for a long time. Now, the thing is, Dark Confidant has been inconsistent because the Jund deck has been inconsistent. Also, a lot of decks that used to run this don't always run as many Bobs as they used to. Humans have kind of moved Bob out, and the Jund decks, at least for a little while, were running less Bobs, although now it seems like they're back to around 3 copies pretty consistently. But Bob also sees playing a lot of other decks and even other formats other than Modern. So I do think that this is actually a good time to strike because, again, we don't know when this is going to be reprinted again. The only other thing to consider, though, with this card, if any of the cards we're talking about today have a chance of being downgraded to rare, this is maybe one that's more probable. Just because these type of effects in more recent history have been at rare, not mythic, and Ultimate Masters is a very powerful set. So I might not run out by Bob today, but just keep him on your radar. Griselbrand. Okay, this is a classic reanimation card at this point. Avacyn Restored, $9.36. Modern Masters 2017, $9.37. For about $10 or less than $10, you can grab this awesome reanimation target for Vintage, Legacy, as well as Modern. And the card, even though it is banned in Commander, is still fun just to play casually too. Kitchen Table Magic. Really sweet card, and again, who knows when we'll see him again. Liliana the Last Hope, $45.59. This is not a cheap card, but this is a card that's not getting any cheaper anytime soon. Again, an Eldritch Moon card, we talked about that earlier. But also, it's awesome in Legacy, sees Modern play as well. This is a very solid performer in competitive Magic, and if you need copies and can grab them for $40, $45, I would bite the bullet and do it. Chandra Torch of Defiance, $11.99, maybe my pick of the video here. For $12 or less if you shop around, I think she's a great acquisition. Simply because you got to think about the play she is seeing compared to the play she might be seeing in the future. Is she seeing extensive Legacy Modern play right now? No, I wouldn't call it extensive, but enough to matter in Legacy, sometimes in Mono Red Prison. And the big deck for her right now in Modern is the Land Destruction deck, although she shows up in other places. But what's caught my eye is the Runaway Red deck, because that hasn't put up a huge result yet. But if it does, usually you'll find a couple of these in the sideboard of that build. This card could go up maybe quite a bit. We'll have to see what happens with that, but if it's not Runaway Red, another deck's going to come around using Chandra, I have no doubt, and it will find success. I think this is a great pickup. Titania, Protector of Argoth. Now, not too long ago, I did a video talking about undervalued commander cards, and I'm going to do another one probably pretty soon. They do seem to be popular. So I wanted to at least throw in one solid commander card here. Not to say that many of the other cards in the video aren't, but this one especially. Commander 2014, $16.78. Commander Anthology, $17.63. And again, another card we just don't know when it's going to be reprinted. There's a lot of commander cards that could use reprintings. This is just one of them, but I do think it's a pretty good deal. If you can find these around $15, it's a good pickup. Dak Faden. Conspiracy, $15. Eternal Masters, $15.97. The Greatest Thief in the Multiverse is very undervalued right now. Great vintage card. Now, granted, the thing with solid vintage cards is there's not a ton of people playing vintage, so that keeps the price down nicely. Like, this is not a very expensive card considering how good it is, but it's an awesome cube card, great casual card too. So if you don't have it and you're a cube player or something like that, you should grab one. Chrome Mox. This is another one of those cards that isn't seeing extensive play, and it's not cheap either. I mean, Mirrodin, $32.49, Eternal Masters, $33.05. That's a little bit of a commitment, but it is a Mox, and it does see enough play to matter. I do think it's still a good price. Mana Crypt. Okay, Eternal Masters was not all that long ago in the scheme of things, but this card already is up to $131.89. The media promo, which is the original version of the card, $178.84 at this point. So the media promo, I mean, that will go up because it's an old card. It's getting harder and harder to find in good condition. So if you're a higher end collector or you like to trick out your deck, I would go for it. But if you just want to play this in Commander, grab the Eternal Masters. It's expensive, I know, $130, but I don't think it's going down. At some point, will it get a reprint? Yeah, probably, but we just don't know when that's going to be, and who knows what the price point of the card will be by then. I do think the Eternal Masters version does have some room to grow. Mox Opal. Okay, this one doesn't have a ton of room to grow, but I wanted to include it because it's Mox Opal. Obviously, you know what this card does. It's everywhere in Modern, sees Legacy and Vintage play too. But Scars of Meriden, $99. Modern Masters 2015, $99.99. I do kind of feel like these real good Modern cards do have a ceiling of around $105, $110 for the most part. That feels like the limit for people that want to play Modern. They don't want to spend too much more than that on a single card, and I don't blame them. So the market seems to reflect that. So this one, very clearly missing from Ultimate Masters. I think this is the one card more than any that people said I really wish was in the set. I do think it will go up. It's not going to go up a ton, but I do think it will go up. Again, when is this going to get reprinted? Who knows? Wormcoil Engine. Now this does have a few reprints, but this is the card that I probably heard second most that people wished was in the set. There's a potential chance that this could be downgraded to rare in a powerful set like Ultimate Masters, so this might be one you want to wait on. But Commander 2014 is $20.49. Commander Anthology Volume 2, $20.58. Scars of Mirrodin, $22. They all feel like they have room to grow for me. A very, very popular card. And that concludes the November special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, this isn't about deep speculation. You don't want to go out there and buy 50 copies of Wormcoil Engine. You're not going to make a lot of money doing that. This is more about, I need 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 copies of a card. Is it a good time to buy it? Yes, the 20 cards we talked about today, I do think it's approaching a good time to pick them up. But you never know. None of these are on the reserve list. They could be reprinted at any time, and you never want to forget that. But until next time, though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.